Thought that was a cop behind me. Anyway, I've been thinking about how we always know what we're doing subconsciously. We're never a danger to ourselves. When we're allowed to move based on how we know how to move automatically. And I'm thinking about how I know this happens with men too, but I'm a woman, so I experience it from a woman's perspective. How the older generation of women, when you live in an oppressive, female subservience, women abuse family system, or really it's a global thing. Older women cannot interact with younger women who still have their self intact. They can't interact with younger women without obviously leveling with us in some way. And they can't do that because the side of themselves that we still have intact, it's been destroyed in them. Like, all women have this kind of primal and wild femininity. We have intuition. We're fucking magical. We're so powerful and creative and intelligent. I feel like we can do anything. We can literally create life. So what do they do to the most powerful people on earth? They put them in the most subservient, degrading, soul-crushing roles in society possible so that they can use us for their agenda, like we're slaves. And this has happened to our mothers and our grandmothers and all throughout history. Fuck. Especially when we get into male-centered religions and how So, what does the older generation do? The older generation of women who have been beaten and broken in, made a shell of themselves, and their real self is just rotting inside and is non-functional now. What do they do when they see a younger generation of women who are free? They want... I think about how my mother is one of my worst enemies, because she's so goddamn jealous of me, and she is. So are my aunts. So is my grandma, and I think that grandma stopped raising us when I was 7. She sent us off to Aunt Linda's house because she knew that she was going to break us. And Aunt Linda always targeted me and punished me because I was beautiful, and she would even say it, like she was jealous of me, and she was jealous of my spirit, and she punished me every fucking day, and I was the only one she targeted. Like, they try to crush younger people's spirit. And I know this happens to a lot of women, because I'm friends. I pretty much exclusively only become friends with women who are like me. And All of us have father issues. And all of us have some kind of fucked up mother dynamic where our mother is jealous of us and she hates us and she blames us for being born and she thinks we took her power away from her because she's male centered and she can't admit that the man that she settled on is who did this to her. And I'm friends with women like me who have very broken mothers who are always trying to break their daughters. And I know my mother used to tell me, she told me that one day I'm going to have a kid just like me. Or she said she hopes that I have 10 kids just like me. And one day I'll understand. I think when I was in college, I didn't want to fucking talk to her. But one day I talked to her. And she said, one day when you meet the right man, you'll be stupid too. And then I got out of the car and I left. I don't know if people talk about this in general, or if this is just common sense to people, or if it's something that's so denied that people just don't even realize that it's there. But older women, especially mothers, are very hateful towards their children and younger people and people who, or women their own age who haven't been completely broken into subservient, pathetic, terrified, shameful, roles because this world has crushed them. And it always comes out. It always comes out in usually passive-aggressive ways. And then they try to sabotage their daughters. They try to sabotage the younger generation. They're fucking obsessed with them too. Women know other women. I can look at another woman and tell all kinds of stuff about her just because I'm a woman and I understand. I think interacting with the same sex, there's automatically some kind of instant, intuitive process that happens where you can size them up and you just know things about them. So we're always leveling with people of the same sex because we are. What does an older woman do when she's leveling with a younger woman who is embodying and living out a side of herself that she got fucking crushed for, that was destroyed in her, that was abused out of her, and that she has been mind controlled into rejecting and denying and demonizing? It's not even just female sexuality, because they were doing this to me since I was a kid. They were just jealous of my spirit. They were jealous that I was funny. They were jealous they were jealous of my curly hair. They were. They can't interact with younger women without... So you're leveling with someone. If they're bringing out something in you that is traumatized, that's just rotting away now, that's like you're trying to kill and you spent your whole life trying to kill, you interacting with that person is going to put you back in tune with that side of yourself. So that person's presence is going to be excruciating for you. You're going to fucking hate them. You're going to want to kill them. You're going to want to sabotage them. You're going to want to see them get locked up in prison or humiliated. Or you're just going to wish ill on them. You're just going to want to fuck them up because they make you feel so fucking powerless. And it's true. I work with older women because I don't see male clients anymore because they always get sexually attracted to me, and I'm not trying to fuck a 70-year-old man. I wouldn't even do that for money. I want to suck your wrinkly ball sack ass. Never mind. I work with older women, and at some point in every single one of these dynamics, maybe it's because I'm psychic and I'm very attuned to this kind of stuff, but I know they do it to other women too. The destroyed, crushed version of them that life has systematically broken in them levels with me. And I'm not exempt from this either, because I'm sure that if I was around teenage girls and middle school girls all the time, I would find something in me that's been broken that they still have intact, and I'd probably be in their position too. But I still do judge them. The older bitches. You're gonna try to start drama with said woman. Like the one bitch did. The day that she told the office that she doesn't want me to come back, I went out in the lobby the next day and she was trying to wear her hair like mine. Like the kind of windblown, curly, she was trying to look like me, and I could tell at a first glance, like I can tell. But I know. Because I bring up something in her that's been broken and crushed, and she can't handle it. So it's easier to just live in denial and then try to gain power over me, or fuck with me, or get in my goddamn way and just fuck things up for me. Because she can't handle how powerless she feels. It's not even because of me. I'm just acting as a mirror. And she wouldn't feel pain. She wouldn't feel that way if the side of herself that I bring out wasn't there. I know they do this with men too, because my father does this to my brother all the time. And I think to myself, these people, when we get into these dynamics, the people who are on the side of things, who are the ones being triggered and facing their own trauma and experiencing that, it's like they become obsessed with the other person. And it's inspiration. At its root, it's inspiration. We're always trying to reintegrate ourselves. We have to split off from parts of ourselves when we're going through something that's really traumatizing. We have to. You get like a split. It's a survival skill. And we can live like that for a long time. And we're always trying to reintegrate back into our true self, because that's where our power comes from. So I feel like when we meet people who just trigger the fuck out of us, at its root, it's inspiration. But then that easily devolves into envy and hatred, and it brings up, like a purging process happens. It brings up all of the shame and the fear and the bad memories and the body sensations. Like we get trauma stored in our body. So you either have to break the person who is bringing that side of you up, or you have to go through the purging process. You have to digest through your emotions. You have to face that side of yourself. And I think with a lot of older people, they've already given up on themselves, and they've already tried to completely kill and destroy that side of themselves. And then they feel so powerless to someone who still has that intact. Their sense of power, their sense of false power, now comes from seeing that you get destroyed. From seeing that you end up humiliated and all fucked up. From seeing you in lack. From seeing you being impoverished and dangling your needs over your head. If you don't do what I want, I'm not going to meet your needs. I'm going to see to it that you're limping around this world like a cripple. Like you have to break yourself and follow my mind control agenda and become a fraction of who you really are. Or else I'm not going to meet your needs. And people do this with their children, especially. And people hate their children. I think to myself, I know I hate my mother. I know I hate my fucking father. I hate my fucking aunt. I hate every fucking adult who tried to go out of their way to punish me and target me and deprive me and do all the humiliation rituals and shit that they do so that I would splinter off my real self and internalize all their shaming and abuse because I needed my needs to be met, and they hang it over people's heads. Children especially. When in reality, children do nothing wrong. I used to work in preschools. The last preschool I worked in, I got fired because I think a lot of women who get trapped in early childhood education, it's not because it's their calling, it's because they want to abuse children. And the last place I worked at, they were abusing children, and I would not do it. And the bitch ass teacher, ugly bitch, she was yelling at the children as soon as she walked in the door. She didn't introduce herself to me. She acted like it was the fucking military boot camp. They did nothing wrong. They were just children, and she tried to get me to act like her, and I wouldn't do it. I stood in the corner with my arms crossed. I wouldn't do it because I didn't get the fucking job. I didn't get a job working with children because I wanted to hurt children. I love children, and they put me back in tune with that side of myself. I love them. They're so inspirational. And I wouldn't do it, and I wouldn't play along, and I wouldn't submit to the humiliation rituals that they do with other people who work there. So they fired me. They do this with potty training children too, especially. And they do it with eating. Anything that's an involuntary process, that's the easiest part of a person that you can shame. And when you can shame someone, you can get them to do anything you want. Anyway, I was thinking about how broken people feel powerless in the presence of people who are not broken in. Because a lot of the ways that we get broken in, quote unquote, broken in this world are unnatural. They're what ends up creating and manifesting diseases and all kinds of issues and poverty and all kinds of complications and shit. And there's so many fake rules everywhere. There's so many unnecessary rules everywhere. And it's all a mind control agenda. But I was thinking about how when someone makes you feel powerless and you are unwilling to level with the side of yourself that they bring up, and you're unwilling to transmute that and be with it, because it hurts and it's scary, you're going to have to do everything in your power to break them, because your sense of power now will depend on them being broken and you being above them. You feel like you're finally keeping it contained, like you're finally controlling them because you can't control all the stuff that they're bringing up in you. And I think this is why a lot of older people are so fucking obsessed, like the fucked up older people. They're so fucking obsessed with younger people, and when they get fixated on you, it's like they become obsessed with you. And I think to myself, like, I'm 28. What if my whole fucking life revolved around obsessing over a girl in middle school and trying to break her and thinking about, like, yeah, like, every fucking morning I wake up, like, what is she doing? Like, and just being the way that older women have been with me. How can I punish her? Let me call her mom. What is she doing? What, how can I justify every little fucking thing that she does that doesn't follow some made up rule? How can I justify in my mind that she's bad and she's worthy of my weird ass obsession with her, like my Aunt Linda does, and my mother, probably my other aunt too, and several of the old bitches at work. But I already have conviction that I'm never having kids, because I never want a kid to experience this world, especially not a young girl. So I feel like I can see this from a bit more of a detached perspective. But those older, I know this happens with men too, the older people of the same sex, or maybe if you're transgender, the opposite biological sex, it's like they get obsessed with breaking you, especially if they can dangle your needs over your head, like money or food or shelter or something. And they do. They set as if pedophilia isn't real. As if child abuse isn't real. It's fucking everywhere. And they set kids up for early death and humiliation and getting involved in crime. They've tried to get me involved in crime since I was 5. They want to see younger people who they can't break. They want to see them end up in prison or dead. And then if they can find some kind of weak spot that you have, they'll want to dig their hooks into it and exploit it and make you become just like them. And then you hate someone else, and then you can engage in the hatred spiral that they're in. Like, I think to myself, so a lot of these women have been broken and turned into housewives and maids and sexual abuse victims, and they're living a completely unnatural life. My grandma wasn't even allowed to drive. Like, she just had to sit at home all day. Like, out of touch with nature. Or if you are in touch with nature, like at my age with biological urges to have children, they try to put you in a situation where if you act on your biological urge, it will get so fucked up and you will be so exploited by it, because any natural thing that we have to do, including going on the toilet to shit in the morning, that is the easiest latch point to hook into someone with shame and situations of exploitation and humiliation. Come on, bitch. Because it's the most natural, it's the most involuntary. Ugh. Where's my other food? And I work with older women. Like the bitch that I'm seeing today, and I do say she's an old bitch because she is. And I'm dropping her case after today because I don't like being hugged like that. She's so fucking deep in denial. She's religious, male-centered, wrong about many things. But I'm not going to sit there and tell her that. Because it's too late for her. In denial of her father wounds, in denial of her mother's neglect. And I can see this in people. Like, I can just listen to someone talk and hear and just know all kinds of shit. But the older people, they're not going to fucking change. They're closer to a grave. They're closer to a grave than they are to getting in a car and driving again. But I think to myself, if I got into the position that a lot of these older people have gotten in, where their true power, their true self, their personal trajectory in life, like their soul impulse has been completely beaten out of them, and now they're living a false life, or they're living a life based on shame and fear. And defeat. Your real self, for as long as you're alive, your real self is always trying to come back into integration. It's always trying to heal. That's why it hurts so much all the time. That's why people have to go into such deep denial. And then we live in very neurotic, weird ways. And I say we because I go through phases of this too. I've gone through some very humiliating phases of it. I'm not exempt. I think when we lose our ability to follow like our soul impulse or to be authentic, to even follow our own inspiration, like we'll have an idea to do something and we want to do it. We feel it in our gut that we want to do it, or we want to talk to someone, or we want to go somewhere, or we want to create something. But then instead of just automatically doing it, we get trapped with all this shame and all these doubts and all these reasons why we can't do it, or what other people will think, or like anything to talk ourselves out of it. When we can no longer freely follow ourselves, I think one of the spiritual people said they term it as the North Star. It's just a term though. It's a term for like your compass in life, your personal compass. When we can't do that anymore, that's when we descend into fucking hell on earth. We're living in a cage in our own mind. We feel incompetent. We're in this sunken place, both physically and spiritually. It's a very spiritual experience, and that's how it starts out. And that's the spiritual version of being in a sunken place always comes before the physical manifestation of it. And the trap in it is that you believe you can't get out because you feel incompetent. I feel like losing our ability to follow our North Star in life, so to speak, that's what manifests all illnesses, all toxic obsessions with destroying other people, all clan behavior, all death affirming stuff that we get into in life. Instead of living a life where it's life affirming and soul affirming and stuff, we'll get into these downward spirals of self-destructiveness and death, while worshiping the thing that is keeping us trapped. Like, I think women and male-centered religions. And yeah, I do think this. I respect people's right to do whatever the fuck they want because everyone's going through their personal process, but I think they're so fucking wrong. We'll start worshiping the thing that is keeping us trapped. And I do mean it. I think they're so fucking wrong. And that's why I'm dropping the lady that I picked up a shift on today, because she hugged me way too many times. And I think she was trying to steal my energy and attach to me and leech on me at the heart level. It's like, why the fuck? If I just met you, why are you hugging me like that? And then I got back from the store, and it's like she strategically started talking about religion to me and the Bible and how he can do anything. And he can do anything. Meanwhile, she can't even fucking walk. So he can do anything. You can't even fucking walk, bitch. And I do feel this way because something just pissed me off about her so goddamn bad. But this is not the first time I've worked with a woman who I dropped her case because she was trying to preach some male-centered religion to me. And then meanwhile, I could hear all the little ways she would, when she talked to a bitch on the phone, she went way out of her way to just compliment her and call her all these pet names and all this stuff. And it's clearly fake. You clearly don't even like her. and you're trying to deny it from yourself. And this is also the bitch who hit my car when she was backing out. And when she hugged me, I said, "Aren't you the lady who hit my car?" And she said, "No, no, no." And she just denied it. And then when I got back from the store, she said, "Oh yeah, that made me think there actually was a time." Like, she knew immediately she was lying. But anyway, I hope I never become like them. I don't want to have a daughter. I don't want to have kids at all, but I summon this. If I am ever a 60-year-old bitch and I have some cross-eyed fucking obsession with a younger woman and I'm just trying to take her out, someone come and tell me what I'm doing. Someone come point this out to me. Someone come redirect me back to this video. Because that's how I'm going to know that I'm lost. I just hope I never become like them. The day that I forget, or the day that I am not aligned with my own self anymore, and I don't have a fucking hobby in my life, and I'm just thinking about how I can destroy this younger person. And older women do this in the form of siphoning fertility too. Because they're jealous. They think they're so male-centered that they think the only form of fertility and value that they have is physical fertility. And they feel like their life choices have been so fucking stupid that they can't even have fertility of wisdom in their old age. So they try to siphon the fertility of younger women, and they do. I know people have told me I'm crazy for this before. They try to tell me I have schizophrenia, but I know that they do. Anyway, I'm 40 minutes late, and I don't give a fuck, because it's not like they're doing anything anyway. They're just sitting in their chair all day anyway. I'm not late for shit. Anyway,